Hi everyone, I'm Angelica, aka Gunsmile, and today I want to talk about Franka, the swarm. You and the other passengers have been traveling for 3 days down the Rhône. The metal bench of the swamp cutter stopped being comfortable a long time ago, but you'd rather be on this side of the railing than wading waist deep through marsh water. The cutter's petro engine makes the only sound out here, besides the occasional croaking of frogs and splashing of water. Thankfully, there are no insects. Well, on the water anyway. On land is another story. Days pass. You occasionally stop at villages on the riverbanks to resupply. The local clanners are hardened. They're familiar with the terrors of the swamp. Even their children know the difference between termites and ants. Every village has a cache of pheromone buoys that they deploy when the swarm draws near. But they don't work as well as they used to. And with the Anabaptists gone, it's hard to find a flamethrower these days, or someone who knows how to use it. One night before bed, you are deep in conversation with one of the village's women. You walk with her and watch as she checks the lard lights strung up on poles. Cicadas and moths, attracted to the lamplight, struggle in the net traps around them. With a deft hand, the woman empties each net, collecting the bugs in a basket from which they can't escape. You ask her how she can live on the boundary between life and death all the time. After all, you've heard the stories. Pheromancers rule the Franken swampland. Their human drones, victims of their influence, roam the land in packs to defend their masters' domains. Insect swarms descend upon villages just like this one, displacing families. So why stay? The woman with the basket looks at you with hard eyes and a set jaw. You were not Franken, she says. This is not your home, but it is ours. If we leave, we would be giving it up to them, and we're not giving it up. Franka is one of the 7 cultures of Degenesis Rebirth and occupies a large section of Western Europe. For centuries, the locals have struggled against the deadly pheromancers, who reign over the heartland of Franka, including the ancient capital. Many clanners have banded together to resist the encroaching swarm, aided by other cults with a vested interest in restoring the rulership of Franka to humankind. In decades past, the southern coast of Franka was only a ragged string of fishing villages. Back then, no one had ever heard of Toulon, Montpellier, or Perpignan. The chroniclers tried to boost the economy by bringing the artifact hunt to Franka's swamps, but the pheromancers drove them out, all the way back to Aquitaine and Justitian. Not even the combined efforts of the Spitalians and the Anabaptists could stop the pheromancer King Mernakir and his drones. Then the Neo-Libyan, Hamza Abu Bakr III, arrived in Toulon. He took the city and its people in his hands, helped them prosper, made them safe, and brought them education. In 10 years, his business acumen turned Toulon, Montpellier, and Perpignan into major metropolises with booming economies. With the Anubians' help, Hamza now equips his scrappers so they can venture beyond the cities and return unharmed, loaded with artifacts. These he sells across the Mediterranean Sea in faraway Tripoli. Not everyone is happy with Hamza's success, however. The chroniclers seethe with envy in the central cluster, and the judges too look toward Franka to expand. The farther west you go, however, the less influence the Neo-Libyans have on the people. The resistance has turned Toulouse into a fortress. From there, Armand Malpierre leads the war against the pheromancers. And even farther west, on the Atlantic coast, is Aquitaine, the home of the Franken cluster. There you will find no Neo-Libyans. Only chroniclers rule. Meanwhile, in the far northwest of Franka, a different story unfolds. The clanners of Britain waged what seemed like a hopeless campaign against the pheromancers, until Vicarant, a sublime of the Anabaptists, faced off against the pheromancer King Ganaress and cut off his head. Vicarant has been the living hero of Britain ever since. In fact, the Anabaptists flourish in Britain like nowhere else. Even though Cathedral City in Borca is their official capital, Britain is their holy land. Many Anabaptists make pilgrimages there, some eventually calling it home. But the Anabaptists are not alone. They make their beds with the Bretoni, those fearless clanners who live by sea and salt. The Bretoni King Opolis reigns from his seat in Brest, where thousands gather every October to celebrate the fall of Ganaress. But Britain is far from a land of peace and plenty. Across the Dead Channel lies the unexplored land of Britain, the bygone city of London, and the ancient ruins of Bath, Plymouth, and Brighton. No one who goes to Britain ever comes back. for only the cannibalistic Pictons live there, serving the whims of their god, Argyre. Unbeknownst to all, a danger approaches from the west. It has been biding its time for 5 centuries, growing, consuming, proliferating, and it is coming ashore. Learn more about Franka on the Degenesis Rebirth website at www.degenesis.com, in the core rulebook Primal Punk, and in the 2 released campaigns, The Killing Game and Black Atlantic. If you like what you've read so far and want more great content, donate to SIXMOREVODKA today at the Degenesis website. Every dollar goes to new art, stories, books, and online features. Until next time, game on, and be kind to each other.